What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Shep's Garage video, and today we are going to talk about what it's like daily driving a modified Mark 8 GTI. If you own a GTI, or if you're thinking about modifying your GTI, this video will help you if it is a good idea or not in your circumstance, I guess. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. But first, if you are new to the channel, this is the first time seeing my face on your screen, don't forget to please click that subscribe button down below if you are new. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and you guys have been crushing it in terms of the support of my GTI videos and a bunch of other videos on my channel. So what are you doing? Subscribe. It's completely free, and you're also helping me by becoming a full-time YouTuber in the future, which again is my dream job. So basically, the way this video is going to work is I'm mainly going to go over the pros and the cons about daily driving a modified Volkswagen GTI. Now, there are some people out there that are like, oh, do I really want to modify my brand new car and take all the risks? Or then there are some people out there like me be like, yes, I want to modify my car because it's cool. So this video is going to help you guys decide whether modifying your GTI or any car in general, I guess, is a good idea in your circumstance or not. But first, let me introduce you guys to what modifications I've done to my GTI. So counting the things only that really affect the car: ECS tuning, valved, catback, exhaust, H&R lowering springs with 15mm spacers in the back and 11mm spacers in the front. This beautiful racing line hood strut that should have been equipped from the factory, and a new speed cold air intake with the red filter and red pipe to match all the red accents around the car. So that's pretty cool. And soon to have something going on down here and something going on up here, but more on that later. So first, let's talk about the pros of driving a modified GTI, or let's just say a modified car in general. First of all, it looks a lot better than the stock form, especially if you get a good set of lowering springs or coilovers. I think that they really do change the car, and they really change the feel of like the dynamics of the car in general. It really makes this car a lot more exciting to drive, because since it's lower to the ground, it can take corners nicely instead of the sort of roly-poly stock suspension than before. As well as going on to building on that factor, if you get a nice setup, if you get a nice exhaust in your car, you can really make your car sound really, really good. This ECS exhaust, yes, it was expensive, but it really does change the way this car drives and the way I feel driving it. I know some people may not like loud cars, but even if you do a simple muffler delete on one of these, it makes it sound so much better than stock. As well as when you modify your car, you kind of make it yours and not make it like someone else's. Everyone has their own taste when modifying certain cars. For example, with this car, I'm sort of a big OEM plus person when it comes to a GTI, which is why I kind of like the sort of stock look, but you know, it's kind of hiding some modifications if you look closely enough. As well as when you go into like the GTI or Volkswagen community at a car show or something, your car stands out from everybody else's in some circumstances, I guess, because it's modified and it's made so it is yours and only yours, basically. So there are things that you can do that are not really performance related that may still make the car look better. For example, I've done the cool yellow fog lights, the cool like hexagonal fog lights down here. I made them yellow with some film, and I also did the dynamic turn signals on the mirrors, which was an awesome modification. They're tinted too, so when you unlock the car or lock the car, for example, it kind of swoops down like that. So that's a cheap, easy modification that, you know, really changes the look and aesthetic, I guess, of the car. Obviously, bigger things that you can do to modify your car, like more power, bigger turbo, tune, etc. But even stuff like this makes your car stand out from everybody else's, even if it's something simple like something aesthetic. It drives better, it's more enjoyable to drive, it stands out from everybody else's, and it's also a good conversation starter to ask about, oh, what have you done to your car, or something like that. So those are some pretty good advantages of having mods on your car. Now let's get to the cons or disadvantages, because unfortunately there are a few. The first con that I want to go over is that once you start modifying your car, you can't really stop, and it's just, I guess you could say it is a hobby that costs a lot of money, which really fits this sticker that I made for my car, which says financial mistake, and has the S is like a money sign. That's pretty cool. I made this when I started modifying my car, and I'm glad I did, because it is so true. Once you start buying parts for your car parts are not expensive, and especially for a brand new GTI, they are even more expensive than older GTI. So you can't really stop once you start, and I'm kind of in that phase, I guess, where I got an exhaust, then I liked it so much, then I got an intake, then I got a suspension, and then you get to get the idea where you just can't stop, and I've already have gotten other things that haven't even come yet for this car, and I still need to put them on. So it's expensive, obviously, and then another flaw is that it can affect the overall ride in a negative way. That's only if, I guess, you got a suspension or an exhaust in some ways. For example, if you live in Massachusetts like I do, you'll know that the roads here literally suck. They look just like this, and because of that, potholes are really bad, and when you're riding on lowering springs that are much more firmer to the ground so the car can corner better, if you go over a pothole, it's really, really, really bad. Like, it's awful the way this car rides, at least in roads around here. Well, as if you get an exhaust, the drone for the exhaust may be better, but if you get a valved exhaust like I did, it sort of fixes that issue. So I always recommend a valved exhaust to anyone looking to buy an exhaust for a car. Get a valved exhaust, but make sure it's installed correctly. Don't be like me. Go watch those videos if you haven't already. We're on that topic. If you are planning on modifying your car, make sure to find a reliable shop. I would say this would be a con and a pro. Make sure you find a reliable shop, because if you did what I did and found a shop that wasn't that seemed pretty reliable, but they did not so great work, you want to make sure that the work done on your car is properly done. Don't go and cheap out and find some corner store to do your work on your car. Find a good repair shop or modification installation shop that can install the parts properly, and so the car can work functionally. I made that mistake, and I'm sure other people made that mistake. I took my car to a shop where they never worked on GTIs before, but they've worked on a bunch of other supercars, and they just didn't look it over properly, and you know, it was a mistake. They owned up to it, they fixed it, and yeah, we're moving on from that. But always just find a reliable shop. As a pro or con, I want to throw it in there because it's important as well. Final con to add to this list is that modifying your car could risk in voiding your warranty. Now, this does depend on the dealership and the car company you chose. For Volkswagen, I guess it's 50-50. The dealership that I service my car at has an enthusiast employee base and enthusiast customer base, so they don't void warranties on modifications like I have right now. Exhaust, suspension, intake, you know, they don't void warranties based on that stuff. However, if you tune your car, then that sort of is pushing it for my dealership. However, other dealerships are not enthusiast based, so if you blow your car, they'll probably void your warranty. So it's always good to just make sure that your dealership is fine with modifications, because there are some dealerships that are not fine with modifications. So make sure you check with your dealership before you start modifying your car. That's what I did the same, and I think you guys should too. And so those are all of the pros and cons to modifying your GTI, your car. in general. In my opinion, I always think modifications really do enhance cars. However, don't over modify them, because most of the time they don't look good if you over modify a car. Put enough modifications on your car to whether it satisfies your needs, your desires. If you just want an OEM plus car, build an OEM plus car like I'm doing right now. However, there are some people that want a wide body and put a big turbo on it. I say go ahead, whatever suits your desire in modifying cars, I say go right ahead. I think modified cars look cooler, they sound better, etc. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be a little bit different. So stay tuned for that, and peace.